We got Dan Bilzerian in the house.
Yeah. When I think of a masculine man, you like pop up instantly.
You like a Viking, man, in person.
Yeah, I guess so.
I first came across you was like the Pussy King.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody wanted,
Man, look at all these women around here.
yeah, this dude just walked around looking happy as fuck.
I dedicated a large chunk of my life to my sex addiction. It was so distracting just to have naked girls running around the house or fucking popping up, or they would wear the craziest, sluttiest clothes. They always wanted like attention, and they're competing with 10 or 12 other girls. So like the shit that they would do to get attention was kind of crazy. You couldn't have a conversation. Like I'd be sitting here like trying to talk to you, and you'd be like, motherfucker, do you listen to anything I just said?
My wife would never let me come over y'all.
I fucked like 9 girls in that photo. For sure 9, maybe 10.
So you like blondes, huh?
I don't care about hair color at all.
No.
I like big titties, a small waist, and a nice ass. Not that dump truck shit that you motherfuckers
I don't
like,
fucking
bro.
like
I don't like that shit.
Bro.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that.
No.
One of the questions I had, how do you even get in? Like, man, you gotta have
Exactly.
a lot of fucking distance to get in that mother. It's fucking 7 inches just to get touch the thing, Fuck.
You had 3 heart attacks?
2.
2? What the fuck caused that?
Cocaine,
okay.
altitude, steroids.
Dude, you was a wild
I was a wild motherfucker. man.
taking steroids,
Yeah.
cocaine, dick pills.
Yeah, Viagra too. Did I mention that?
You've been making rounds on mainstream media and all over the internet. TikTok, I see you everywhere, especially your interviews with Patrick Bet-David and Piers.
Yeah, that was kind of the one where I said, fuck it. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in Jewish supremacy. I don't believe in supremacy at all. And right now, I think you have massive Jewish supremacy.
You sound like a Nazi.
I mean, why do you say that?
Yeah, welcome to episode 53. We got Dan Bilzerian in the house.
Yeah. When I think of a masculine man, you like pop up instantly.
Yeah, you like a Viking, man, in person.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Beard does it.
Right.
Yeah, we've been waiting to get you on the podcast. You've been making rounds on mainstream media and all over the internet. TikTok, I see you everywhere, especially your interviews with Patrick Bet-David and Piers. I think Patrick Bet-David started it all, right?
Yeah, that was kind of the one where I really said, fuck it. And I just, like, I've been saying it on Twitter, and you can get away with a lot on Twitter, but I felt like I wanted to say it on a bigger platform, but I just didn't want to lose my Instagram just yet.
Right.
So
Did you lose your Instagram?
I didn't.
Okay.
I actually posted some of the clips on there. Well, I take that back because I did post before Piers on there. I posted about Israel being a fucking parasite, but I went a little bit deeper on PBD before PBD I posted on there.
Yeah, I love PBD, and you made him squirt.
Because he knows I'm right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like he knows I'm right. So it's tough. Like it's hard. And I don't think he was ready to tap dance like that either, because I didn't think he thought that I was going to come as strong as I did. I don't think Pierce thought so either.
Right. Yeah.
And so usually they prepare for, what a guy's going to say and know that he's going to probably have boundaries and not just say, fuck
Dan,
it.
I was looking at that podcast. You know how you're looking at a podcast, you listen to it, you're like, all right, let me listen to this shit. You get bored, you turn it off like 15 minutes in. I was like this the whole time.
on the Piers?
And Patrick Bet-David. I was glued to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, man. You watched like the first 45 minutes and I'm pretty tired because I'd done Chris Williamson before that. And then he started pressing me on Israel and then I woke up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more interesting to talk about than the horrors and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, Piers Morgan, he was flabbergasted. He didn't know what to say. He started just calling you names. He didn't try to refute anything you were saying. He just called you names.
Yeah.
Just over and over and over again. It was funny. I saw a clip where they like counted how many times he called me an IS A Semite. It was like I lost count.
Hey, he didn't call you a liar.
Yeah.
Not one time. Yeah. He had ample opportunity to call you a liar. And he never said it.
And he would ask me something, and I would give him a very fucking direct answer, and then he would just move on to something. He wouldn't respond to it. He wouldn't acknowledge it. He would just move on.
Yeah, he just called you a Nazi.
Yeah, well, that's where he ended with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And HAMAS attacks. I was like, everything, I mean, when I listen to you speak, it's not like their opinions per se. I mean, I guess you can say the opinions, but the difference between a fact and opinion is a fact. You can back it up with evidence and you can prove that it's no longer opinion. And majority of the thing you say sounds pretty factual to me.
Yeah, I didn't just like wake up and hate Jews one day. You know, like it's not like, you know, I'm fucking some Hitler advocate or whatever. Like I had more friends that were Jewish than probably non-Jewish. I'm a rich guy, hang out with fucking rich guys. They just, you know, all seem to be Jewish these days. But yeah, it was not something that I really even considered, you know, and then you just start seeing this stuff and you start seeing what they're doing in Israel. You start seeing our support of Israel to our own detriment. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Right. And then you start putting this stuff together like Epstein Island and that's a Mossad operation. And that's why they have fucking dirt on our politicians. And that's why these guys are just, you know, I mean, you look at their tweets, it's like, it's literally like somebody like took their phone and is just fucking, you know, tweeting blind support for Israel. And you ask why, and nobody can give you a straight answer. Nobody can tell you why they're our greatest fucking ally. You know,
they're just God's chosen people.
Well, yeah, there's that. And that kind of like, that's really what set me off is when I found out like how much their religion was based on supremacy. You know, and I think when you start off down a road of supremacy, you have a lot of problems because then it's like, it's okay to justify a lot of things. It's just like, you know, we kill animals. Animals are, you know, different than humans, right? They don't have the same brain. They don't have the same thought process. So we're able to say, okay, that's fine. You know, you can treat a cow obviously different than a human. And so for them, when they view Palestinians as cattle, then, you know, they can justify a lot. And I think that is the crux of the problem. The crux of the problem to me is their view of supremacy. And it's funny because I said that to Piers and he's like, oh, well, you sound like a Nazi. And it's like, you know, the storyline that we were told was the Nazis were the white supremacists.
Right, that's what I thought.
Right, like they didn't like black people. They didn't like fucking anybody that wasn't Aryan, right? Whatever. That was like what we were taught.
Right.
And so when I said that I didn't like Jewish supremacy and I don't like an idea of supremacy, for him to turn around and say, oh, well, you sound like a Nazi, I'm like, well, it's not what I was told the Nazis said. I mean, like my idea of what the Nazis are today is very different than it was 5 years ago just because look, when you listen to Hitler's speeches, it's not like, let's gas these fucking Jews. And, you know, you like you hear him and he sounds angry, right? Like back in the day, you would hear this shit and you didn't know what the fuck he was saying, but it's like, oh, probably saying fuck these Jews and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. I got recommended a video on YouTube and it says Hitler's speech transcribed in English. I said, why am I getting recommended this? So I said, fuck it. I popped it out. I said, holy shit. He didn't sound like a racist to me.
Well, not just that, but like you listen to what he's talking about and it's like, fuck, this sounds like the problems we're having today. Perversion in the cinema, you know, perverting our fucking youth, you know, like the things that he's complaining about, the banking system, you know, all this stuff, it's all problems that we're facing today. And to me, I'm like, man, you start connecting the dots, like, where is this transgender bullshit coming from? Because I don't care if people are gay. I don't care if they're fucking trans. I really don't. I've hired tons of fucking gay assistants. I've had them. I liked them at the parties because they weren't fucking my girls. Less distraction, right? So I've had gay guys around me the whole time. I don't give a shit. It's not like I'm anti-gay. I don't give a fuck. And I would tell you if I was because I really, at this point in my life, I don't give a fuck. You know? And it's a lot more popular to be anti-gay than it is anti-Jew. I can tell you that. But what I saw was this is coming from the Jewish community. Like the Talmud has 8 genders. Like the first transgender clinic was opened by Magnus Hirschfeld, a Jewish guy in Germany in 1919. That's what they closed down. They burned those fucking books. Like
that's what Hitler was closing down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you look at this and it'll tell you that, you know, they don't hide from it. There was actually some transgender woman, man, whatever on TV that was just talking about how you know, the Jewish people were the ones that pioneered this. And that was what the Nazis shut down. She was saying it like a bad thing. And it's like, okay, like I'm not against transgenders, but I'm against it being pushed on children. I'm against, you know, men beating up fucking women in boxing. Like I'm against just the nonsense, like the tampons in the fucking men's bathroom, like just the bullshit.
Just common sense.
Drag queens reading to kids, like just the stuff that like 5 years ago everybody agreed on, and then all of a sudden somehow we just like disagree on these like very basic issues, like pedophiles are bad. I don't know, like that wasn't something that was crazy.
You gotta get counsel for that one.
Now it's like, oh, a minor attracted person. Like really, motherfucker, you're trying to like come up with a separate name for these people to try and make them more like acceptable, like socially acceptable. Like it's just, I don't know, man. I look at this stuff and I look at where it's coming from, and that's really where I have the issue, is because it's not a left thing. It is a Jewish thing that's being pushed through the Jewish media. That's where they get these talking points.
So my biggest thing, Dan, is they're always willing to call people anti-Semitic. I'm thinking the bigger question we should be asking everybody, why do you feel that I'm anti-Semitic? Why what happened during World War II? Why did that happen? Why is people pushing back on Jews? They're not asking the right questions. They just want to call people anti-Semitic.
Yeah, and like that there's some worldwide conspiracy that, you know, these people have been kicked out of 109 countries 1,030 different times.
Weird, huh?
So for the last 2,000 years, everybody just got together around the world. There's no phones, but everybody's like, oh, you know what? The Jews are the bad guys. Let's just persecute them. And then why did they let them back in the country? Because they got kicked out of countries, you know, they got kicked out of 109 countries, but they got expelled 1,030 times, which means they got accepted back in the country, kicked out again, accepted back in, kicked the fuck out again.
Yeah.
Right? So like, this is not
totally opposite of the blacks. Everybody wants the blacks. They're taking them as slave labor.
Well, yeah, speaking of which, I mean, I'm sure you guys know who is behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah.
Yes, and this is, you know, like Farrakhan, you know, lined this out in, you know, the secret relationship between blacks and slaves, or sorry, blacks and Jews. And he lines it out from like, you know, Jewish texts. This is, you know, all the slave ships, they were owned by Jews, you know, during the Jewish holidays, they shut down the slave trade. I mean, this is not something that, you know, is a conspiracy theory. This is something that you can, you know, look up and you see the
fact.
Yeah, the massively disproportionate amount of Jews that own slaves in the U.S. compared to just whites. Like whites, I think it was like 0.3% or something, and Jews was like 40% of them owned slaves. So like, you look at this and it's like, man, every time there's a fucking problem, it kind of all goes back to the same
The
people.
usual suspects.
Right? So it's like, man.
Jew activities.
Yeah, like how many times do you got to see a coincidence to start connecting fucking dots?
Yeah. Like you're not really like against Jewish people. You're against the Zionist. The Zionist supremacy.
No. I'm against Jewish supremacy.
Right.
And I think that's a very important thing to like articulate because a lot of people say Zionist, and I think that gets confusing.
Okay.
And I'm not against all Jews. I'm not just saying, oh, all Jews are bad. But what I am saying is that they are causing a disproportionate amount of problems, and that I think Jewish supremacy is the issue. And I think it comes from their religion, this idea that they're better than other people,
right? That
they can steal from other people, that they can lie to other people, that they can rape non-Jews, that they can, you know, that if, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they have it in their Talmud. It says that if a Jew has sex with a girl that's under 3 years old, that it's the death penalty. But it's not the death penalty for the Jew, it's the death penalty for the 3-year-old girl because she caused a Jew not to have sex with a minor, but to have sex with a non-Jew, and that's why you should kill the baby, because she caused him to sin. And the sin wasn't fucking the 3-year-old, the sin was fucking a non-Jew. So like, and I'm not making this up. I can literally read this to you word for word. I actually posted this on my fucking Twitter, and then they tried to like label it as hate speech. And I'm like, this is a direct translation from your fucking Bible.
I have the clip. I have the right here.
What's that?
It says it right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That is nuts. So this is not a conspiracy. This is a fact out of the Talmud.
That is in the Talmud, and that is their Jewish book of law. And if you look up what, you know, how they define the Talmud, it is like the central, you could just Wikipedia Talmud and it'll give you a thing, but it says it's like the, you know, if the second, if not the most important text of
next
rabbinic.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than the Torah, which is, you know, Torah is just kind of like the Old Testament. So
Yeah, that version of the Old Testament. Hey, Joe, bring up that clip of that guy. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe you know who he is. He shared some information about what's been taking place in the Middle East and overseas, all the pain and suffering because of Bebe, Netanyahu.
Oh, this guy's great. This is Sachs.
Our greatest disaster.
What's his name again?
I think Jeffrey Sachs.
Jeffrey Sachs, okay.
I regard Netanyahu as having been our greatest disastrous president of the 21st century because he ran American foreign policy for 20 years and he cost us trillions of dollars. And where is the Middle East today? War in Syria, war in Lebanon, war in Palestine, unrest in Iraq, the war in Yemen, chaos in Sudan, chaos in Somalia, chaos in Libya. Great job, Bebe. You did a terrific job.
He ran foreign policy overseas?
Who's that?
Bebe, Netanyahu.
Oh, I mean, he's running everything in the U.S. He's telling us what to do. I mean, he's dictating these wars. I mean, he pretty much says it. Like, the U.S. does what I tell them to do. It's crazy. I mean, that guy, he's a Jewish guy. But, I mean, that's proof. You know, not all Jews are bad.
Right.
He made a great fucking point. That guy, you know, he made a lot of great points. He's a super fucking sharp guy. Yeah. And I think there's a bunch of other ones, you know? So it's not like they're all fucking bad. And that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I am saying is that it's not just the Zionists. And I think people say Zionists because they've been having fucking problems since long before, Israel, right? Like they've been being kicked out for, thousands of years.
Yeah. Right.
And the Talmud's been around for a long time, right? So I think it's more of a Talmud issue. I mean, obviously, like the whole Zionism, just deciding that somebody else's country is going to be yours and persecuting these people and treating them like second-class citizens and operating apartheid, like all that is fucking horrendous.
So it's the culture of the Talmud. That's the main issue that a lot of people are having with them.
Which is basically like Judaism,
Right?
That's Jewish law, and if you see like. These things are being, carried out. A lot of Jews will be like, oh, well, we don't follow the Talmud or we don't read the Talmud or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you had a bat mitzvah, or bar mitzvah or whatever. And they tell you that you're better than other people there. They tell you that they're chosen people. It's like, how many times do you have to hear that you are better than other people? Look, when you're a kid, if your dad tells you, like, it's okay to steal from other people, or it's okay to steal if you get away with it. Just don't do it from Christians. Like you're just gonna do things differently. Like if you think that's okay, it's obviously more convenient to take money that's not yours.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, when you start off with this belief system that you're better, or that you're within a tribe and take care of your tribe, but fuck everybody else, charge interest to everyone else except for your people.
There's different rules for them against other people. It's like it seems like to me when I hear people talking this, it's like we're their instruments for them to live a better life.
Yeah, we're like their cattle, we're their slaves, And it says that in like their, basically like their prediction is that Jews are going to rule over the world and that they're going to have a certain amount of Goyim slaves or whatever. I mean, it's like this is just intertwined in all of their teachings, and so the problem is, when you have people that are in power that believe they're better than everyone else, then you're going to have big fucking problems. And we're seeing that.
Yeah. Right. Let's go to that clip of Trump and Bebe, Netanyahu. This actually shocked me when I saw this. There's actually video of Trump actually tucking him in his chair.
I was just about to say, where he pushes his fucking chair in.
Yeah.
Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it.
I swear to God.
We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. We'll take over the Gaza.
Yeah, look at that comment Harley plays. Yeah. That's why you guys aren't president, right? He's making moves outside the box. We have no choice but to see where it goes from here. He's Jewish.
Yeah. He's the epic
Shocking.
He's the epic mealtime guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's thinking out the box, huh? He's thinking outside the box. Y'all been doing that to that country for what, the last 50 years? And he's thinking outside the box.
What a novel idea.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to that drone footage of the Gaza Strip. Like when I saw that message, I was like, man, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And then when you look at this drone footage of a Gaza, it's man, it is. It's like
it's like apocalyptic, It's
look at that.
So now, what are these people supposed to do? They're supposed to go back to that? Or actually, I guess they're now not supposed to go back to that. They're supposed to just leave their fucking country and be completely...
That's crazy, because they said they bombed these houses, these apartments, these hospitals, because they're using people as human shields. Hamas is there. But how is Hamas in every house?
Well, let's just talk about that for a second. I don't give a fuck if Hamas is in a hospital. That doesn't give you the right to blow it up.
Right.
Just like if there's a fucking school shooter in a school and your kids are there, do you want them to blow up the fucking school?
Great point, yeah.
Like, guy robs you in Compton. Do you just carpet bomb Compton?
Right. During these riots.
What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
during the riots,
what kind of logic is that?
Yeah, during the riots, during George Floyd, we didn't drop bombs on those people rioting and stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's not what you do. You don't kill fucking civilians. So... I mean, and it's not like they don't have like tip of the spear military technology. They've got snipers, they've got, all sorts of things, drones, whatever. And they could be conducting Navy SEAL operations, kicking in doors, killing Hamas leaders. They don't need to carpet bomb refugee camps. They don't need to fucking blow up hospitals. They don't need to blow up mosques.
Right.
Like, I don't care if there is a bad guy in there. If there's a bunch of women and children, you don't fucking blow it up.
They blow up a truck of
humanitarian aid that was coming in. The
Right.
people in the truck and everything, and they got the stickers saying it's humanitarian aid, and they blew them up and killed them. They said, oh, they thought they were pretending to be.
You talking about the soup kitchen workers that
Yeah.
registered with the IDF and told them their exact positions, and then they targeted them?
Yeah.
And they were in different cars, and they blew up each car, not
Yeah.
just one. It wasn't just like one rogue fucking missile. It's like, no, they
Exactly.
targeted these cars, that these cars registered with the IDF and said, hey, we are doing, humanitarian aid. We're feeding these people. These are our cars. And they fucking blew them up. And, and you see these like, these fucking groups, like on Telegram, they're like laughing about it. They have like video of, they're like holding up the passports and smiling over the dead bodies and shit and like celebrating. And it's like, these are fucking aid workers, idiots. Like,
We got new giveaway, 47 inauguration edition. Ram Diesel 2500 heavy duty. We the people, 47 edition. If you're in our contest today, we give you 5 times the interest. That means for every dollar you spend, you get 5 times the interest. So if you spend $5, you get 25 interest. That's $30. Now that's 30 interest. 5 times 5 is 25. You blacks. Just go to officialhodgetwins.com. Anything you buy from the site, get you automatically. Yeah, enter the win. Yeah. No purchase necessary. Going where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was so proud. I used to be the biggest cuck for Israel. When Kanye went on Alex Jones' show, I was like, man, this dude's anti-Semitic. And I was on, I was a moron, right? And I was on TikTok looking at videos, right? And these people said, free Palestine. I said, what are these people talking? Where the hell is Palestine at?
Never heard, yeah.
So I Googled it and I was like, oh shit, this place used to be called UK Palestine. And I started doing my research, and a Jewish lady on TikTok, she said, I lived in Palestine. She was Jewish. She said everybody's passports had Palestine. He said it actually existed before they turned to Israel in 46, 48.
Yeah.
He said it was Jews, Muslims, and Palestinians living
Christians
there.
too, right?
And Christians, yeah.
Yeah.
But the majority was not Jewish people.
Yeah.
It was Muslim.
yeah, I mean, they went over there and they just, murdered a bunch of people. They stole their homes. I mean, my friend Muhammad Hadid, Gigi and Bella Hadid's dad, they let in Jewish refugees, and the Jewish refugees kicked them out of their own fucking house. Can you imagine letting people into your house, like, come in, we'll save you, and then they kick you out of your own fucking home? Like, it's just such a crazy concept.
Yeah. Why do you think Republicans, like, I think Democrats get what's going on in Israel to the Palestinian people? I think, and that's saying something because Democrats are freaking idiots. Why do you think they get it and Republicans don't get it?
Well, I think they're kind of like the broken clock is right once a day type of thing, or twice a day, whatever.
Right.
I think that they see the settler colonialism or whatever, and they've been programmed with this whole like white supremacy is the fucking problem in America. And so they see that as like white supremacy. They see the obvious apartheid. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, what's going on over there. The 2 sets of justice, the persecution. And so I think the Jewish narrative that has been pushed to these people has kind of backfired because, the Jewish Democrats say, oh, white supremacy is the problem, and, racism is the problem, and blah, 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 and, we need DEI, we need all this stuff. And then the Republican Jews say, oh, it's the terrorists, it's the jihadists, right? So they kind of like, they both blame all these different groups when it's the fucking Jews that are causing all these problems. But the diversion, it keeps the right thinking, oh, the terrorists, right? Like we got programmed. Like every fucking movie I ever saw, the terrorists were the bad guys. The jihadi terrorists. They were always the fucking bad guys. They always had a turban on.
Muslim.
Always Muslim. Always fucking,
Never Israeli.
never Israeli. No. And so you get programmed with this stuff and you see it enough and you just, you start to think, okay, well, these are just bad people and you dehumanize them. I was in the military. I was in the military 4 years. My friends, I just remember being in there. It's like, yeah, fuck these Hajis. And, they come up with names for them. And then later on, they kind of look back and they're like, fuck, what if that wasn't a bad guy? What if that was me? What if somebody showed up in my fucking house and kicked my fucking door in? I'd grab my gun and defend myself. That's what that guy did. And I killed him for it, And I think when you dehumanize the population, it's easy to rationalize out doing this stuff. And so that's what they do. They tell the right, like, these are Muslims. They're all fucking terrorists. They're the scumbags. They're the problem. And so you have all these,
They always say they're all inbred savages, animals.
Yeah, inbred, camel fucker, goat fucker, whatever, all this stuff, And I bought into it too, man.
They do fuck camel and sheep out there.
What, rednecks do it too. Rednecks do it too.
There might be some truth in the goat fucking part, but regardless, you get indoctrinated with this stuff, and then you're just like, well, they're the problem, and then you just shut everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why they've still got the right saying, Israel or they're the white guys, they're the cultured people, they're they have a democracy, they're the only democracy in the Middle East, and they're living amongst
That's
these
a democracy in Israel.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, but that's what they're programmed with. Is like that's the one country that's like us,
right?
And they're surrounded by all these bad guys, and we got to help them. And
it's just a big lie.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah,
I have no man. What the hell were they thinking putting a bunch of white-looking Jews around a bunch of Arabs? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's the funny thing is, they talk about Semites, and most of the Israelis are not actual Semites. They're from fucking Europe. They're Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews. And they did the DNA studies. I think it was like John Hopkins did a DNA study, and like 80% of the Palestinians are like actual Semites that are linked to that land.
Right.
And like 97% of the Israelis are not. And so, and then you find out that DNA testing is illegal in Israel. Like you have to get a court order to get a DNA test. And this is like one thing of the long laundry list of, of hypocrisy of like, the owner of 23andMe is Jewish, but they don't allow that there.
Right.
The owner of Pornhub, the owner of OnlyFans, like the owners of all these like porn sites are Jewish, but they don't allow that in Israel. In the U.S., it's open borders. In the U.K., it's open borders. It's race mixing. It's, do this, diversity this, diversity that.
Right.
Not in fucking Israel. Show me how many fucking Jewish Israeli women are married to black guys.
Yeah.
And show me how many fucking, Israeli men are married to black women. It's like it doesn't happen there. And you know what happened when they had black Jews go there from Ethiopia? They fucking sterilized them. I'm not making this up. You can fucking Google it and you'll see it in like Haaretz or whatever. Because I use Jewish publications because they rat on themselves all the time.
Right.
And so that's what they did. So when the actual black Jews went there, they fucking sterilized them.
How did they do that?
They gave them birth control that sterilized them, like without their consent, without their knowing it.
They told him it was like aspirin or something.
Well, I don't know what the premise was, but you can.
He probably thought it was Tylenol.
Yeah, look at there you go, right there. Yeah, and some of those contraceptives were like permanent.
Oh, so they did it to the women.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not making this shit up. Like, and I didn't like I said, like the more you start to dig and the more you find out about this stuff, the more fucked up it is. And then it's like, oh, it's just the Israeli government. And then you look at the polls, it's like, no, like 65% of the fucking Israelis like are on board with this or think that they should be using more force. So it's like. The population is behind this nonsense, and a lot of them think they're not, doing enough.
Right.
And
I had we got invited to Israel.
I didn't go because that's an accident waiting to happen. I look just like Hamas. So, when I see our leaders go over there, like Trump, I see I had a person go over there that I knew to walk down certain places in Jerusalem or in Israel. You have to wear their hat. What's it called?
a yarmulke.
Yarmulke. Just to walk down the street, you have to wear that. Or if you go inside of one of their
well, Trump had to wear it. Obama had to wear it. Everybody who goes over there, you have to wear the hat.
Well, you want to be wearing the hat, or else you get fucking spit on.
Right, because I see a lot of Christians.
You get spit on?
Yeah, they spit on Christians. Yeah, if they see a cross or they know that you're Christian or you have a Bible, they'll spit on you. And they openly say it. That's another thing you can Google.
It's a tradition, right, Dan?
Yeah, no, they say it. Yeah, it's a Jewish tradition. It's like, and that's what I'm saying is like,
I came across those videos.
And it's like, oh, we've been persecuted. It's like, no, motherfucker, you guys have been acting like assholes, spitting on Christians, poisoning their fucking wells, killing children. Doing...
Were they like Ethiopian or something?
No,
they look kind of dark.
Oh, I mean, there's no shortage of these videos. There's like literally thousands of these videos.
Yeah.
If you want to find videos of Jews spitting on Christians, there was no end to that. There will be thousands.
So
and thousands.
why did
That's what I don't get. You have Christians here in America, especially within our government, and then you see Christians, how they're getting persecuted and treated over there in Israel. It's like, I don't even understand what's the conflict between, when it comes between different religions. I mean, they told us a bunch of lies about Muslims. They say Israel's our greatest ally, but when you see what they do to Christians over there, spitting and mocking them, and they willing, while in the United States they call out a lot of hate here, but it's like, I think it's all just BS here, and they are the true haters. I mean, can you actually say that these people that occupy Israel right now, are they actually Semitic people?
I don't think they're Semites, and I think they hate Christians. And I think we're taught that, you know, Judeo-Christian values, which is just a fucking bullshit word.
Right.
Because, you know,
I don't even know what that means.
It means bullshit. It means utter bullshit. So Peter Schaefer, he was the head of Judaic studies at Princeton for like 15 years, and he was the director of the Jewish Museum in Berlin, and, you know, very well-read, and he wrote a book called Jesus in the Talmud. And he talks about, you know, what the Talmud says about Jesus, and that basically he's a, you know, total scumbag piece of shit. He's in hell. He's burning in human feces and sperm, and that the Virgin Mary's a whore, and, you know, all this stuff. And so the idea of Judeo-Christian values, when one group thinks that, and not just one group, you know, it's not just the Christians that think that Jesus was a great man. Well, they think he's God or whatever, but the Muslims, they think that Jesus was a great prophet. So these two religions are actually like pretty similar. One thinks he's God, one thinks he's a great prophet, but either way, it's, you know, the majority of the world thinks that Jesus is a great man. It's only the Jews that don't. They're literally like the only ones that think he was a piece of shit.
Well, they killed him, right? Them and the Romans, right?
Well, they definitely killed him for sure. Well, they ordered it. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if the president orders an assassination, the president killed you, not the person that like shows up at your door, right? So, like, you know, it's not the guy that was like wielding the axe, the guy that told the guy wielding the axe to kill you. So, the Jews definitely killed Jesus. It's unequivocal. And the weird thing is that was just like undisputed, agreed upon knowledge until recently. And I remember it was like, I don't know how many years ago, but not that long ago, I just like Googled, did the Jews kill Jesus? And it was like 14 articles saying no. And it's like, what? Like the Bible says it, like, wait, what are you guys talking about? It's crazy. And then, you know, you look, it's like Google is Jewish owned, AI is Jewish owned. It's like all these things, like OpenAI, like all this stuff. And so you just get really like biased information, but even with that biased information, you can still find the truth.
Yeah, right. You can.
And the truth is that, you know, they think Jesus is a piece of shit. And
Now, Jesus, he was Jew, right? He was a Jew, right?
well, so he, you know, that's kind of disputed. I think he was more of a Palestinian than a Jew. I mean,
Well, that makes a lot of sense now.
yeah.
Well, they're all Semites.
Yeah.
Palestinians, the Jews that were there in that era, they're Semitic.
Well, to
Yeah, the
explain why they
Sephardic
hate him
Jews,
so
yeah.
much, Keith, he's Palestinian.
Exactly.
Hey, do you have a
So these are the kids acting like this.
So these are the kids. So obviously they're being taught this from a young age. You know, this is not something they just like woke up and like, oh, we hate Christians. They're taught to hate Christians.
Right.
And the elders.
Oh, by the children?
What the? That is nuts.
It's tradition, though, guys.
It's tradition, huh? Well, that's why they despise her, because she's a Christian. She believes-
Yeah. They're hitting her, kicking her. I mean, I'm telling you, I've seen them slap Christians in the face. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
Let us leave. Let us leave.
He said, "Don't incite people." Just standing
I
there.
never saw this one.
What is this?
Oh, they took somebody's cross and they're like stepping on it.
Look.
Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is Judeo-Christian values? I'm like, they hate Christians.
Yeah.
Hey, it's bugging me. I didn't know that y'all brought up the fact that Trump.
Oh, he tucked him in. Put the trap on.
Can I see that?
Oh, this
I
one's
couldn't
gonna
believe
piss
when
you
I
off.
saw
You
that.
haven't seen this yet?
I have not seen this.
Get ready to be angry. This one's gonna piss you off more than the spitting. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Anything else I can do for you?
That is crazy.
What are people saying in the? Oh, it's not that many comments.
Well, it's just one clip, but the clip like went everywhere.
Yeah, it's absurd. I called this though.
Yeah.
I said this before the election. I was like, everybody thinks that, Trump is going to be this great savior. And, he's obviously going to be much better than Kamala for sure. But people will just blindly follow him. That's the scary part about Trump is that people will blindly follow him a lot further than Kamala. Yeah. So, if Kamala wanted to just basically take over Gaza and do all this stuff, people would be like, fuck that. Who's behind this? They start asking a lot more questions. They're going to blindly follow him a lot further. So I don't know.
You think he's going to be successful in taking over Gaza Strip?
I have no idea. I just think that's such a disaster. But
even if he did turn into a river area, that's like a prime spot to commit a terrorist attack.
I just don't think that's any of our business. It's like, it's Palestinian land. It's like we're in NATO, so we should be following like NATO. You can't just steal land. Like that's not a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the reasons why we established NATO is to like stop people, it's like otherwise the bigger countries can just go and take over all the smaller countries and then it's going to be,
That's exactly what we're doing in it. Well, Palestine.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? It's this whole greater Israel project. Because, if you look at what's happening on the West Bank is completely separate from Gaza. And the West Bank is unequivocally Palestinian land. And they're just like building settlements. They're burning villages. They're burning people's houses. They're bulldozing houses. They're burning their trees down. They're killing them and just murdering them.
Right.
There's a lot of really fucked up things happening on the West Bank. And there's no Hamas up there. It's not, the West Bank is completely separate. And they have no fucking business being there. And they're just developing it. And it's illegal. Like it's just unequivocally illegal. So, and
it's all war crimes, right?
Yeah, that is a war crime.
And we are part of it. We funding it.
Is it true?
What makes us war criminals?
Not only are we funding it, but we're defending it as well.
Yeah.
How many of our congressmen and senators came out and like basically, condemned the International Criminal Court?
Yeah, because they made Bebe Netanyahu a war criminal, right?
Yeah, well,
certain
they charged him with war
trouble.
crimes. Yeah, most countries other than the U.S. are, really against it. What he's doing is super fucked up. It's not like a maybe. You can't blow up fucking embassies. Like he's literally doing the definition of terrorist attacks. He's bombing refugee camps. He's bombing hospitals. He's murdered foreign leaders in embassies. He's blown up embassies. He's targeted soup kitchen workers. They've killed a bunch of journalists. They've killed tons of children. And they're just, they're stopping humanitarian aid coming in. They've cut off water. They've cut off electricity. The list of war crimes this guy's committed is like a mile long.
Why doesn't Fox News cover it?
You mean Fox Jews channel?
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch, he's a super Zionist, and there's people that say he's a crypto Jew. I don't know. That like the crypto Jew thing is real. Like throughout history, there's been, many Jews that have concealed, their affiliation with, Judaism. So
Change their names.
yeah,
it's a lot of that.
Well, fucking who's that dipshit in South Florida? Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
Yeah, he changed his name.
Yeah, Mark Chabinsky or whatever is like that. No, that's his real name. Yeah,
Bebe, he changed his name too, right?
yeah, Milanowski. Yeah, because you don't want to sound like a Polak, right? So you have all these. A lot of them, not just him, but many of the Israeli leaders have changed their names, and they've done that through history. They do it, and they always point to the Holocaust. Oh, it's because of the Holocaust and because of persecution and persecution. And it's like, okay, you guys have been persecuted for thousands of years, for just because people don't like Jews, but yet they keep letting you back in. You keep fucking up, and it's not like throughout history they don't have like tons of paintings of like Jews sacrificing children, and they haven't found tons of children. There's just, it's just mountains of evidence. If it was 10 times, if it was 20 times, 100 times, whatever, but 1,030,
Right.
like They got the whole thing. Like,
Ladies
you've been
and
kicked out of
gentlemen,
103
order.
bars, you know?
Oh, everybody. Oh, yeah. Everybody got up and walked out.
Please.
United
Ladies
Nations.
and gentlemen, order.
Good.
I mean, all this information is so easy to access. Why? When the hell do you think Republicans are going to wake up?
You know what's crazy too? When I look at Fox News, they see they see the Palestinian protests here in America. They just show one side them burning our flag.
Well, they mock them, yeah.
Yeah, and they show them just burning our flag.
Exactly. And they
They
try
don't
and
tell the
paint
story
them,
behind
yeah,
it.
they try and paint them as anti-American. So you have, you know, the good old rednecks coming in like, you know, fuck them and, you know, a bunch of terrorists and, you know, they're burning the flag and they try and make it about, you know, a patriotic thing. Which is absolute bullshit because true patriots put America first. They don't put fucking Israel first. And everything that we do to help them is putting Israel before America because all this stuff. Look, we have given them, if you combine it, and you actually have to add the compounding interest because every dollar that we've given them, we borrowed to give them. We've been in debt for like 100 fucking years.
Right.
So since Israel's conception, every dollar that we've given them in aid, we borrowed to give them from the Jewish private bank, the Federal Reserve, which is not a government bank. A lot of people don't know that. But we have borrowed all that money. So you have to do the compounding interest. And if you do the compounding interest, we've given them $9.6 trillion in foreign aid. If you add them, and obviously we've been...
Who's benefiting off that interest?
Well, I mean, you know, the Fed, but at the end of the day, it's just coming out of the American taxpayers' money because the Fed just prints more money or the government borrows more money and they have to pay interest on that. And eventually, you know, the rooster's going to come home to roost and you got to pay off your fucking debt.
Right.
And so this whole idea that we could get, you know, whatever, $36 trillion in debt is just fucking crazy. And you look at like the stuff that JFK wanted to do, like, you know, he wanted to keep the dollar, you know, on the gold standard, which meant that you could only print so many dollars because it had to be backed up by gold, which would give it, you know, intrinsic value. And, you know, his opposition to the, you know, Israeli nuclear program, him wanting to, you know, register what is now AIPAC as a foreign, you know, entity. And you look at all the stuff that he wanted to do, and then it should come as no surprise that the guy was fucking killed. And it all points in one direction, right? So I just, man, you can't just stop seeing all these constant red flags and everything points in the same direction.
Right. A lot of people, when they speak of Jimmy Carter, Democrat president, they pretty much trash him, say he's like one of the worst presidents, if not the worst president ever. This is what he had to say about what's going on in Palestine decades ago.
Palestinians can't even ride on the same roads that the Israelis have created or built in Palestinian territory. The Israelis never see a Palestinian except their Israeli soldiers. The Palestinians never see an Israeli except at a distance, except the Israeli soldiers. So within Palestinian territory, they're absolutely and totally separated, much worse than they were in South Africa, by the way. And the other thing is, the other definition of apartheid is one side dominates the other. And the Israelis completely dominate the life of the Palestinian people.
Why don't Americans know what you have seen?
Americans don't want to know.
You know who called that out recently is Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. That's how I found that video. I said, "What? Jimmy Carter? I thought he's an asshole." I saw Dave Chappelle
Nixon
talking
too.
about it.
You know, Nixon named the Jew, and you saw what they did to him. I mean, you know, Gaddafi. I mean, he called out. He said that that Mossad killed JFK. I mean, he got them off the the Western banking system. I mean, he was actually doing a lot for his people. And, you know, we had to overthrow him for the benefit of Libya. And then now you look, you can buy a fucking slave in Libya today for like $400.
Wow.
Right. So like you look at how it was under Gaddafi and, you know, then they just keep telling you this shit like, oh, you know, we have to topple the Saddam regime and we have to do this and we have to do that. All of them are countries that oppose Israel. And after we, you know, topple their regime or invade their country, those countries are always infinitely worse off.
Right.
Every time.
And they keep saying we're supposed to be pro-democracy. They turn over them. I mean, they destroy democracy.
I mean, if they really gave a shit about democracy, we wouldn't be fucking backing Ukraine. I mean, that guy was not fucking elected.
Right.
Well, he's a dictator. That? He's a fucking dictator. He's killed his opposition. I mean, he was not elected by his, you know, I mean, he is the definition of a dictator.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of people on the left say they are the modern day George Washington.
I don't know too much about George Washington, but I know that guy is one of the most corrupt politicians out there right now, and he happens to be Jewish. Shocking.
That's amazing coincidence.
It really is. You know, the two places were given the most aid, Israel and both run by Jews. Shocking coincidence. They're they're like 1/5% of the world population, and somehow they're running Mexico, which is like a 98% Christian country.
So I was like, how did they elect a Jewish politician?
Well, I'll tell you, it was the bloodiest election in Mexico's history.
Right. They killed off the opposition, too.
A lot of the opposition. Like, it was like 70 people or something got killed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Joe Rogan talked about that. It was the bloodiest election they've ever had.
They had the cartels do it?
Well, yeah. I mean, somebody, you know. Somebody did it, but I mean, it's just, you look at this and I mean, I feel like they're just a lot more brazen than they were before.
Yeah.
It's like we have so much power, we don't even give a shit about perception anymore. That's where I feel like we're at today.
That's why I feel.
Candidates assassinated.
What?
Mexico elects first female president, and she's Israeli as well.
Yeah, that was just the candidates. There were. Imagine. I mean, when do you even have 37 candidates for anything?
Right.
Like, what do we have for president? Like 7 candidates? Like, they had 30
We're talking about
fucking
Mexico here.
So that means they had to have a candidate. That motherfucker gets smoked. Next guy comes up. That guy gets smoked. Next guy comes up. That guy gets smoked.
You gotta be a damn idiot and say, "Hey man, 20 people's been killed."
And you would have covered up. Like,
you'd have put your name in the hat. Yeah, I think I can win this.
But like, think about that. What positions ever had 37 fucking candidates, and they all died? Like,
how did they die?
It's just
they're
a coincidence.
all killed.
What, 2 to the head, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like by suicide. Yeah, 3 bullets in the head.
He committed suicide. He's got 3 bullets.
Shot himself 3 times. Must have been real tough.
Man,
That is crazy,
I
man.
just hate the idea of because we looked at that drone footage of our military going over there, cleaning that up, having to remove all the dangerous debris and missiles bombs that's laying around. And then our tax dollars going to go to rebuild that area?
After we gave them the money to destroy it, that's powerful.
Yeah, we have given them so much money. I mean, if you look at how much it would take to like solve, like Google what it would take to solve the homelessness problem in the U.S.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, and you look at like $8 trillion was spent on the war on terror. That's by the Brown University study. If you look at the Newsweek, they estimated $21 trillion. But
21 trillion on the war on terror?
I think that's a little high, but that's what Newsweek. I'm saying Brown is like the most conservative estimate, and they said 8 trillion. But if you take that 8 trillion, you add that to the 9.6 trillion, you're at like 17 point whatever trillion dollars just because of our help for Israel. So if you just redistributed that to the U.S. Population, we would like every household would have an extra $200,000 in cash.
It says only 20 billion.
Yeah, 20 billion. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's like 1/5 of the last like payment we sent to Israel, you know? It's like, and that would solve all the homelessness in the US. Like, why the fuck is that? Like, why do we have anybody homeless in the US when we're sending out hundreds of billions and it would take 20 billion to solve it?
Right. We got
just, but just think about that. Like, that's fucking crazy.
And they have their own healthcare in Israel. It's free, right?
Everywhere in America should have their own healthcare when you pay fucking 30 to 50% in taxes. Like, that's craziness.
Right.
Like craziness.
Looks like it's all the Jews' fault.
Well, I mean, if you look at the people that, made money in America before, it's the people that built the infrastructure, the railroads, whatever, the Henry Fords, the Vanderbilts. And now it's like these hedge fund guys that are adding zero value that are just getting like a heads up from the Fed before they, reduce or increase the interest rate. And they're, using leverage, and they're just making money without providing any value. So they're just basically sucking money out of the system. Then we're funneling all this money out to foreign countries, which obviously there's going to be kickbacks.
Right.
And it's just unequivocal. It's not America first.
Right. Have you seen the whole debacle about USAID? The things we've been spending money on us, like hundreds of millions of dollars on worthless, just garbage. Like there was a transgender book in Guatemala. Sex changes in for for the gays in I forget what African country.
Yeah, I think it was Jesse Waters had a video.
But fucking California burns to the ground. You know, best we can do is $700. You know, like fucking Hawaii torch. You know, here's $500. Go, you know, get a couple nice meals and.
I don't believe
off.
for 1 second those fires were by Mother Nature.
Well, I can tell you one thing: they would have been prevented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we'd have spent a fucking fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of the money that we fucking sent to Israel. You know, like. I mean, you look up like how much it would cost to like fireproof all the fucking houses in California. You know what I mean? It's like people lose sight when they see these numbers. They don't realize like $100 billion is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like what that could do for our country to help out our own citizens. But that's the problem is our citizens are not coming first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and these politicians don't give a shit. They give a shit about the people that donated money to them. And the crazy thing is the money that got donated to them was like probably funneled back from the money that we fucking sent to their fucking country in the first place. So we're like bribing, they're bribing our politicians with our fucking money. Like the system is so crazy. And people are starting to see that now, which is why like people are starting to get upset. And I always said this. I was like, you know what? There's not going to be change until people start like actually hurting and they're actually suffering. And now they see like the reason that they can't buy the fucking Jordans or, you know, the McDonald's fucking meal is because of these motherfuckers. And they start figuring out like, okay, this is the problem. And I think that's where we're at now. And so now the next step is like, oh, we need to pass anti-Semitism laws.
Right.
Which is a direct fucking infringement on our First Amendment right. And that was the first thing the Bolsheviks did before they mass murdered 30 to 60 million Christians was they made it illegal to criticize Jews. So the 84% Jewish Bolshevik revolution, they call it. I call it a fucking genocide, 30 to 60 million people. That was like almost all the fucking people that get killed in World War II. But these are like civilians that were starved or fucking murdered in the gulags, whatever. And, you know, in fact, like the first mobile gas chamber was invented by a fucking Jewish guy. You know what he did? He like put the exhaust into the back of his like truck and built this thing. And he would take Christians, stick them in there. And by the time he would drop them off, they were all fucking dead. Like, everything they fucking came up with, they had already done previously. They already committed a Holocaust before World War II even happened. They had mentioned 6 million Jews like 256 times before the war even started.
Yeah.
Like, this is all like premeditated. It's all bullshit. So when you start looking at this stuff, you're like, man, we really got fucking lied to. We really got sold a bill of goods. And when you look at every single time, like, why Jews are, you know, in a protected class. And I said that to Piers Morgan. I said, why are they so protected? And it's always, oh, well, 6 million Jews got killed in the Holocaust. So like, oh, well, fuck. What about the 30 to 60 million fucking Christians that got murdered before that?
You do actually hate Jewish people.
No, I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to the world today. I look at what they're doing in the media. They're pushing this transgender nonsense. I mean, and they did it in Germany. The first transgender clinic was opened by a Jewish guy. And I don't like this perversion pushed on our children. I don't like the fact that 9-year-olds are reading about homosexual acts. I don't like that drag queens are reading them in schools. I don't like that Kamala Harris wants to pay for sex changes in prison so that men can turn into women and women can turn into men. And I don't like the fact that he's putting in, you know, men into women's prisons, male rapists into women's prisons because they identify as women. I mean, it's just nonsense. I don't like, you know, men beating up women in boxing and sports. I think it's all nonsense. And I think it's leading to a degradation of moral fiber. And if left unchecked, I think it's going to ruin the world.
But again, you're blaming Jewish people. Why?
Because
they're pushing this.
What do you mean they're pushing it? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, they're controlling the media. I mean, the DEI is being pushed by BlackRock. BlackRock's execs are all Jewish. You know, you look at where this is coming from. It's not a surprise.
Dan,
all the Disney execs are Jewish.
Dan,
they're pushing it on children.
Right. Do you accept, Dan, that you are just blatantly
See, he just can't defend it. It's just back. Look, I have an issue with that term. I mean, I think the real Semites are the Palestinians.
Right.
I mean, they you know, the DNA tests that they've done on the Israelis that are living over there, they're Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews. I don't even think they're actual Semites. They don't have ancient Hebrew DNA, which is why DNA testing is illegal in Israel.
I mean, you're literally denying their existence now. I mean, you are just a brazen
Deny their
anti-Semite,
existence.
You hate Jewish people. You hate Israel. You hate the state of Israel, its government, everything about it. You're blaming them you blame them in this interview for literally absolutely everything.
When you say, well, I think most of the problems today is caused by Jewish supremacy. I believe that.
I'm honestly gobsmacked that you
gobsmacked
would say all this publicly. given what a high profile you have.
Yeah, I mean, it is not a. It's not a popular opinion for somebody that cares about money and cares about not being canceled. I mean, that's the problem. Is you can say whatever you want against Muslims. You can be super anti-Muslim. You can talk about them and nobody cares. But if you say anything about Jewish people, you get canceled. They, look what they did to Kanye. I mean, so why are they such a protected class? Let me ask you that.
I don't think they are. I think they're a class that get targeted.
He doesn't
by
think
people
they
like
are.
you.
They're literally the only class that gets an anti-Semitism law passed for them.
Nonsense. But yours seems to me to be more insidious because you're literally blaming.
So you think that Kanye targeted them and not the other way around?
You're literally blaming Jewish people for almost everything that's happened that you don't like in the world. That is the purest personification of anti-Semitism right there. That's what it is.
Well, when you have a religion that promotes supremacy, when you have a religion that says that you are better than other people, and when you have a religion that says it's okay to steal from other people as long as they're not Jewish, when you have a religion that says it's okay to rape people that aren't Jewish, when you have a religion that talks about having sex with, kids that are under 3 years old, when you have a religion that promotes these things and promotes supremacy, I think you're going to have problems. And you see that in Israel. Israel is a manifestation of that religion. And I think that religion is, it's terrible. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in Jewish supremacy. I don't believe in supremacy at all. And right now, I think you have massive Jewish supremacy.
You sound like a Nazi.
Over and over.
I mean, why do you say that?
I want to show you this clip of a basketball player. He posted on his Twitter, he said, "Free Palestine."
I saw that.
You saw that?
And then he got a lot of pushback for that.
Yeah.
So I tweet "Free Palestine." Less than 10 minutes after I tweet that, I get a call from the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
Shut it down.
People like working with my foundation at the time, Texas, you got to erase this tweet. You got to take this down. You're going to get it. I'm like, what did I do that was so bad?
Can somebody explain to me?
Yeah, can somebody explain? And it was just like because I went against the grain. I said something that people didn't like. And I, now.
Not people didn't like, they didn't like.
So now it's like I got to say what I believe and how I feel and not go back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can Piers Morgan say that they're not a protected class of people?
They're the most protected class of people on the planet right now. Right. And the crazy thing is they should be the least protected class because they are so overrepresented in every single fucking category.
And they're about as prevalent as a transgender person in the world.
I think less. I mean, it's like a fifth of a percent of the population is Jewish. A fifth of 1%.
And they've been able to work their way into our government in powerful positions. Like
Not just government. Media, banks, and Federal Reserve, you know what I mean? Like all of it. Hedge funds. I mean, every doctors, lawyers, every position of power in the U.S., they are so fucking massively overrepresented. It's not even close.
2% of the world population.
That's what I'm saying. A fifth of a percent.
Wow.
A fifth of 1%. That's what I'm saying. 1/5 of 1%. I mean, it's 16 million. It's like, it's crazy. 16 fucking million. And there's 8 billion people out there. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. There's more transgenders than Jewish people. Could you imagine having a Jewish person? I mean, not a Jewish person, a transgender person in the home. You would notice that quick.
Well, they put one as the head of what was it, the military or the health? I think they had one.
Jewish, right?
Fucking turkey gizzard or whatever.
Yeah, you would notice it.
Fuck, I noticed that. Yeah.
Hey man, I don't feel so good, man. What's wrong with you? I'm embarrassed to tell you. I'm just gonna tell you, I ain't took a shit in like 2 weeks, man. Ain't you taking your OH? Your optimal human? I thought we ran out of it. Man, here, take this. Here's some right here. Take it. Get it up in you. Drink that. Get that probiotics. That artichoke. That is good. That apple powder. All those essential nutrients that get your intestines right. Yeah, get them intestines right. Get it all up in you. Swallow it. There you go. Why are you drinking it like it's Kool-Aid or something? Just
well, you made it with cold water. I'm over here getting brain freeze.
What's good with cold water? It's like a smoothie. Oh man, I feel something move. Oh man.
Go
to optimalhuman.com/Hodgetwins and now try Optimal Human for free today.
Right.
But like, you know, all the fucking Christians that got killed at the Holodomor, they don't even have a fucking plaque for that. They don't give a shit, you know. But how many fucking Holocaust museums do they have? You know, they march every FBI member into the fucking Holocaust Museum. They make every single one of them go to the Holocaust Museum.
Really?
They don't have to go to the Armenian Holocaust Museum. They don't have to go to the fucking Holodomor Holocaust Museum. They don't have to go to the fucking Bolshevik Holocaust Museum. Only the Jews. They literally hijacked the entire narrative of World War II and made it all about them.
Right.
Never learn about it in school either. It's always just the Jews.
It's only the Jews. And the crazy thing is the Jews killed like 10x of their purported number before that.
Right.
Like they literally killed 30 to 60 million Christians. Like it was like 84% Jewish Bolsheviks killed 30 to 60 million Christians. Like murdered them. Like Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote a whole fucking book on this. Like it's documented. It's not like this is not a conspiracy theory. So, you know, but nobody mentions it. Not even a fucking mouse fart in your textbooks.
Right.
But the Jews.
All they talk about is Hitler.
Poor Jews. Yeah. And then Hitler. You know, and so I don't know.
Man, it's crazy, man, because I hear all these things. And then when I heard that transcribed speech in English, I was like, man, that whole story about him being I don't know, it just made me question everything I learned about World War II and Hitler. Things are not adding up.
Yeah, I mean, he had a whole policy where if you had, you know, one child that, you know, he would pay for 25% of your house, or if you had multiple child, I mean, he had a whole thing where like he was trying to like encourage community, encourage, you know, family values, remove the perversion. You know, he wanted to instill morals. I mean, was he a good guy or not? I don't fucking know. I wasn't there, but I was told that he is the worst guy in the fucking history of the world. And that's for sure not true.
Right.
Because the Bolsheviks did way worse than him. Stalin did way worse than him. Mao did way worse than him. You know, but like nobody really talks about that. It's just all so
I think
focused
we
on
did a lot of
like
garbage too.
We're talking about World War II, right?
Yeah.
That's the same war where we dropped those hydrogen or nuclear bombs on.
Yeah, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which is almost all predominantly females and children. We just mass murdered females and children because all the military age men were out, you know, fighting the war. They were not in Nagasaki.
families.
Yeah, we bombed the women and children. That's literally what we did. We targeted women and children. You know, a Jewish-made, Jewish-invented atomic bomb.
That was Jewish?
Yeah, the Jews invented the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to go see that movie. What's his name? Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
That's Jewish?
Yeah, he's all fucking Jews.
I thought the Jewish names like Baum and Rosenberg. Oppenheimer too? Oh, Heimer. Fucking my black slow mind is catching on. That was fucking... That is nuts.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I know.
Ashkenazi? Yeah, he would know.
Look, I mean, here's the thing. You could just close your eyes and hear about a shitty event, blame Jews, and be right like 90% of the time. And when you're less than 1/5% of the world, and that's the case, there's a fucking problem there.
Wow.
So everything, I mean, people say they call us crazy Nazis, but you can trace everything that's negative, all the pain and suffering people are feeling in the past and in the present. Majority of the reasons because of some person is probably behind it.
I mean, according to everything that I keep finding, that's what I keep seeing. It seems insane. It seems like a crazy thing to say.
It makes you feel like you're crazy, right?
It seems like a crazy conspiracy. It's almost like it's hard even to say something like that.
Yeah,
but
it's like unbelievable.
Over and over and over again, you keep finding this to be the case. You're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey, Joe, how many transgenders in the world? You think they got that? I will.
Well, if you look at where this stuff is prevalent, it's like, you know, all the places where the fucking Jews are in control.
Right.
You don't see this stuff in fucking Arab countries. You don't see this in fucking China. You don't see this in Japan. You know, you look at the place where Jews are controlled. That's where you see this transgender shit. You don't see it anywhere else.
You know what's weird? Ben Shapiro, he like mocks TikTokers, the woke left, like the transgenders, the non-binary people. He mocks them. He gets millions of views,
right?
But he's Jewish.
Well, so there's two sides of it. There's the Republican Jews and there's the Democrat Jews, and they push different things.
Right.
The Republicans say, "Oh, it's the liberals, it's the it's the blue hair liberals. They're the problem. You know, it's transgenderism is a fucking problem. Whatever." and it's the jihadists, it's the Muslims.
But
you
he's
know.
like Jewish. Why are you mocking your own religion?
Well, because they're not taking credit for it. So the left is like, oh, it's the white supremacists that are the problem. It's the oppressors. It's the patriarchy. So the left is blaming the patriarchy, the white supremacists, this and that.
Right.
And then you have the Republicans blaming the Muslims, blaming the left. So you've got all these people blaming each other, and they're not focusing on who's actually causing the problems, which is these fucking like, that's just the fucking case.
Yeah. Hey, bring up that stat, Joe. They said transgenders make up 1%. Now, less than 1%. Less than 1%.
So
they're almost 5 times bigger than the population of the
No,
Jewish.
they are. They're more than 5 times because
more than 5
it's
times.
less than a fifth. It's
Yeah, 5.1% of the global population, and that's a conservative estimate.
Oh well, then that's even more. If it's 5.1, then it's
like 25 times or something.
Yeah, 25. Because they Jewish, they make up what? A fifth.
Point 2, right?
Yeah.
How many of them do you think are Jewish?
Yeah, so it's 25. Yeah, there's 25 times. So yeah, that's a good thing to put it in perspective. There's 25 times more transgender people in the world than Jews.
Yeah.
How often do you see transgender people in these positions of power?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
and when they're Jewish.
Well, that's who appoints them. That's who puts them there, right? I mean, who's pushing the DEI? I mean, that's BlackRock. So you just, I mean, it's
not
deep rabbit hole.
Jewish people are not bad people. It's Jewish supremacy.
Well, I just think they're causing a massively disproportionate amount of problems.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they're all bad.
Right.
You know, just like, I mean, you know, you look at places that, you know, there's bigger, you know, black crime or Asian crime or Mexican crime or whatever. That doesn't mean Mexicans are bad or blacks are bad or whatever. It just means like in that area, they're causing a disproportionate amount of crime. So like to me, if it's less than 1/5% of the entire global population, they're causing like 90% of the fucking globe's problems. Like, okay, we got a fucking issue here that we need to look into.
Yeah. It's okay to.
Does that mean we should just like fucking kill all the Jews? No. Does that mean all Jews are bad? No, of course not. Like, there's never going to be a thing where it's like all these people are good, all these people are bad. That's just nonsense. It's not binary. However, when you have a belief system of supremacy, and when you hate other people, like you know, if they just hate Christians and they hate Muslims, they're going to treat you're going to treat people that you hate differently.
Right.
There's like this I think it's like a Polish proverb or something where this Jewish mother is like telling her son, she's like, you know, go out and, you know, kill some Christians and then rest and then, you know, kill some more and then rest, you know, don't tire yourself out. And the kid says, well, what if while I'm resting, they come and kill me? She's like, why would they kill you? What have you done to them?
Right.
So like, if you don't think that they're the enemy, you're never going to attack them. So like, if they get attacked, like, wait, why are they attacked? You know, it's like, it's crazy. They don't even think that that's a possibility because it's not. Like, you know, Christians don't wake up one day and be like, you know, let's attack some Jews or we hate Jews. Like, it's not like a normal thought process.
Right.
But they clearly don't like Christians. They're clearly destroying, you know, they're attacking Christianity. They're destroying, you know, the unity of countries. Like, you know, they're attacking nationalism. They're
attacking the nuclear family.
That moral fiber, like all of it. Like I didn't go to fucking Israel and start attacking their shit.
Right.
You know, like
they're here attacking our shit.
That's how I feel. I feel like they have come into our country and they're fucking attacking all sorts of important things, like, you know, people's, you know, belief system, the nuclear family. I think by pushing feminism, they're hurting reproduction. I mean, all the isms are Jewish, like feminism, Marxism, communism. Like these are all Jewish things. Transgenderism, all the fucking isms. Like they push, and they're all fucking bad.
Right.
Like feminism is not a good thing. Like a woman wants to go out and work. Cool, great, go out and work. That's fine. But like, you shouldn't be shaming a woman for like wanting to stay home and take care of children and, you know, have a traditional female role. And the problem is when you attack traditional male roles, you attack masculinity, you attack femininity, then you start to lack reproduction because a traditional woman, you know, normal women are going to be attracted to masculinity. That's just a fact. It's not like my opinion.
Right.
And, you know, most men want a feminine woman.
Right. Right.
Like, I don't want a butch woman. I don't want a bossy chick. Like
I want a submissive woman.
Yeah, I don't want a boss bitch, you know, whatever.
That's why I don't date black women. I've dated all types of women. The only woman that put her hands up is a black woman. I said I'm not doing this shit no more.
Hey, because of your opinions, that you had some financial blowback on your company. You got ousted.
They kicked me. They illegally removed me from the board, and they kicked me out as chairman because of my pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel tweets.
Board of your company?
Yeah, off of Ignite. Yeah, they completely kicked me off the board.
You got any Jewish people on the board?
It wasn't because of that. I mean, well, we had Jewish bankers that pulled out. We were supposed to sell the company. There was that. My Jewish lawyer completely fucked me over in Canada. Yeah, I've definitely had them literally like coming for me since I took this position, and I've had tons of death threats. I've had financial threats. I've had extortion threats, blackmail, just everything across the board. Like they've come at me like guns blazing. And that's kind of just like solidified my position.
Right.
Because
validated all your beliefs.
It did.
Right.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, like, if they were like, yeah, you know what, like what Israel's doing is fucked up. We don't support that. And we recognize that you criticizing a country is not attacking Jews. Because where I started this was attacking Israel.
Right.
It's not a Jewish thing. It was like, what the fuck is Israel doing? This is fucked up. We shouldn't be funding this. Stop the aid. What the fuck is going on? Like, that's where it started.
Right.
We've come a long way since then. But like this,
grown.
Well, this started with Israel. And so then when every fucking Jew in my life almost attacked me for attacking a foreign country, like if somebody like would criticize Armenia, I wouldn't be like, fuck you, motherfucker. Let me kick you off the board. Like okay.
You talk shit about my Armenian
country. Right? Like that's a country. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you fucking hate me then. Like they take it so personally.
Right.
And it's funny, they take it so personally for land they fucking stole and have no right to even fucking be on.
Right.
But yeah, it's like somehow become like part of the Jewish identity that like Israel is like their spot. And it's just not. Like the fucking Palestinians. Like
How do you think that ends? I think the Jews going to be the death of all of us.
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, they have the Samson option. I don't know if you're aware of that.
What's the Samson?
So that's basically like if they feel like Israel is going to be, threatened for extinction, they will launch 300 nuclear missiles and destroy the entire world. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's like a thing.
They got that many?
Well, they're not supposed to have any. But
that's right. They stole those.
They stole them from us. So yeah, and
how do you steal a nuclear missile?
Well, the uranium and plutonium or whatever it is that they used to make it.
Well, they did make the atomic bomb, so they.
Even if we cut funding to them and say we want to go our separate ways with Israel, we can't because they're going to bomb everybody.
Well, I mean, I think if we were to stop backing them, they would stop acting like such fucking assholes.
Okay. Make that bigger? Can't see it.
Is Israel's plan to use nuclear weapons as a last resort against a country that has invaded or destroyed Israel?
There you go.
It's a deterrent strategy that intended to keep Israel safe.
This is, by the way, this is a country that's not legally allowed to have nukes, by the way.
Right.
So, yeah, rules for thee, but not for me. That should be their fucking motto.
Yeah. Well, we all go. What do you call us, goyim?
Well, that's what they call us. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they see everybody.
Yeah, goyim or
they see you as an N. They don't. They see him as a goyim. We still niggas over here.
Well, see, what they did is they put blacks in a protected class a little bit as well, so that it could justify theirs. And so they just focus on like, we need to protect blacks. When in actuality, they're the ones that have been persecuting blacks more than anybody. But they put it on the whites and they're like, oh, well, blacks need to be protected. And then because we have a protected class for them, we'll just jump in there too because we need to be protected as well. Right. So they set it up for blacks, while at the same time basically positioning themselves to also be in the victim category. And then they create through the left this hierarchy of victim mentality where it's like the more victim categories that you're in, the more of a voice that you have and the more, oppressed you are and the more other people should respect you to the point where like, a straight white guy who's Christian shouldn't even have a voice.
Yeah, they pretty much ran the North Atlantic slave trade, and then off of all that pain and suffering they did to blacks and Africans, hey, let's use that to be also a protected class.
Yeah.
That's diabolical.
Yeah, they financed the Holocaust here in America with the Indians.
I don't know about that. That may be true. I mean, Christopher Columbus, they found out that he was Jewish. No, seriously. That's
Christopher Columbus.
You didn't see that? It was all on
he was
Twitter.
Columbus, yeah.
He was a crypto Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember they talked about like what a fucking scumbag he was and this and that. It's like
Christopher Columbus was a Jew?
Well, look at the picture of him, Kevin. Dude's got Jew written all over his face. Pull up a picture of Christopher Columbus. I mean, how do you even have a picture of this fucker? Back in 1500 when he discovered the place, he was Jewish.
He was. No way.
I told you, yeah, it's a fucking crazy thing.
Look at this guy.
He looks trans.
There he is. He probably was.
He was the first transgender in America.
Look at that.
That ugly bastard. Yeah.
That looks like an evil son of a bitch.
Looks like a noseberg.
Man,
that is nuts.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he came in. He treated the Indians just like they treated the Palestinians, you know?
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Thank you for teaching us
how to make corn, and we'll reward you handsomely. Don't worry.
And that's one of our holidays, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That is.
But that's how they get the left to, basically turn on themselves is because, Columbus was a scumbag and this and that. And then it's like, oh shit, but he was Jewish, right? So like now that they find this stuff out, it's kind of like becoming a problem. It's like, oh, white supremacy is a problem, apartheid is a problem, oppression is a problem, all this stuff. And then it's like, oh, but Israel's different.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work, because the left is like, they're charging with this stuff. And so, yeah, it's strange.
What do you think about Elon uncovering all this wasteful spending in the millions of dollars?
Well,
with Doge?
That would be great. I mean, I'm jury's out on that guy. I mean,
you're not sold on him yet?
Well, so he's done some real good for sure, which was buying Twitter and basically opening up free speech. But then they basically data mined all the accounts that were anti-Semitic and they fucking mass banned like all the Gripper accounts. They removed their check marks. They can't go live. They can't post tweets that are more than 280 characters or whatever. Really? And they actually showed that he banned more accounts than they had banned previously. So I don't know, it's like, it's weird. It's like one step forward, two steps back with this fucking guy. Like he started off like, fuck Bob Iger and, you want to blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. And, and he said something that they said was anti-Semitic, which, prompted all that. And then he went from that to like calling other people anti-Semitic, going to Israel, clapping for fucking Netanyahu.
Then doing this shit.
then he goes back to that. Then now he's fucking, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that guy. I do know that he takes a decent amount of drugs. So, depending on the ketamine fucking dose that he's on, maybe it's, maybe one day he's fucking Hitler, maybe one day he's, pro-Jew. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I think. Well, I don't think that's what he was doing. I think it was. I think he might have been trolling.
He has Asperger's. He might have been trolling.
Yeah,
he loves to troll on Twitter too, though.
Yeah,
he does. He likes attention. I don't know. Like I said, the jury is out on him.
Have you met him?
I have not. No, I met his brother. Okay. It's tough. I don't know what to think with him. To be honest, I feel like it really goes back and forth. I would say though that the net of his presence has been positive.
Right. Yeah.
I do believe that up to this point, I think the net has been positive. He absolutely did open up the freedom of speech on X. He uncovered a lot of bullshit. He uncovered, how they were working with. I think the government to like censor Republican, whatever.
Right,
I mean, and then the stuff with Facebook came out. So like, we'll see.
I've been demonetized on Facebook for like 6 months now.
Well, I mean, they demonetized Jake Shields. They demonetized a lot of people on Twitter as well. I mean, I'm not even eligible for it.
I would. I wonder why.
I think maybe one of the reasons they didn't take my badge is because I got it before it was a thing you paid for. So legacy badges probably are harder to
take away,
remove.
Hey, like I first came across you. You was like the Pussy King.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody man, look at all these women around here.
Yeah, this dude just walk around looking happy as fuck. Live the life.
Yeah.
I dedicated a large chunk of my life to my sex addiction.
Right.
Yeah. Is that necessarily a bad thing, being addicted to sex?
It's very time consuming.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking.
extremely time consuming. Like I would say that a porn addiction would be much better because you go in, you fucking whack it whenever. You're not texting the fucking bitches. You know what I mean? You're not having them around you all the time. They're not ruining your fucking vacation. They're not fucking fighting with each other. Like way less headache.
Right.
You know, a little less cool, but a lot less fucking headache.
Right.
And the way I looked at the sex addiction was, I mean, it was a fun thing. I mean, look, when I was in high school, and
So you
junior
got
high,
over it?
I did. Yeah, I beat it. I beat it during
Took you like
COVID.
2 million nuts to bust her.
It took me a long time. It took me a long time to beat that, to beat my gambling addiction, to beat my. I have addicted personality. So the weed honestly, the weed addiction has been the hardest one of all. No bullshit. And they tell you that weed's not addictive. That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
Like quitting weed. I still haven't fully quit weed. It's just like, but I would smoke weed every day, frequently. And my just. I don't know. My sleep is better now. My cognitive function is better now. I'm more confident. I have no anxiety. Like I would get anxiety from the weed. And it's fun.
Really?
Yeah,
I heard
absolutely.
it was supposed to be good for
That's
anxiety.
the thing is like a lot of the things that it's good for in the short term, it's bad for in the long term. Like in the short term, it'll make you go to sleep. So you think it helps your sleep, you know, chill you the fuck out. So you think it's good for anxiety.
Right.
But the thing is when that stuff builds up in your system and you use it too much, then it fucks up your sleep. Your sleep is not as good. And I track it, you know, I got the Whoop and the Oura Ring and all the shit.
Yeah.
And I see it, you know, when I'm high versus when I'm not. And like your body relaxes a lot more when you're not high. Your stress levels are higher. Even though you think you're relaxed, like your body, I think, is having to like fight a bit more.
Yeah. I tried weed one time and I had fucking horrible anxiety.
Yeah.
I want to run through a fucking brick wall.
Well, you probably tried the new weed, right?
Yeah.
Which has been like bred to have a lot higher THC content. And in place of that, they bred out the CBN and the CBD and a lot of things that made it like a relaxing, it kind of like guided the high. There's a lot of terpenes. And it's like alcohol, man. Like, you know, Everclear is not better than, you know, fucking, you know, an 80 proof because it's higher. You know what I mean? So but a lot of people didn't understand it. So they would just look at like, oh, what's the highest THC content? That's going to fuck me up the most. They didn't realize like myrcene and a lot of the terpenes actually play a big role in it as well. But I think the reason why weed is just not the same as before is because of all the crossbreeding to make the THC content higher.
Probably Jews doing that. What is I mean, you say you had a sex addiction. What does that look like?
It looks like, you know, about 3 to 4 times a day and just
with the same chick?
No, I would almost never have sex with the same girl twice. I mean,
would be crazy.
Wait a minute, maybe the next day, but like in a day when I was having sex with, you know, 3 or 4 times, it was usually always a different girl each time. And then the next day I might fuck the same girl as the day before, but like I almost never went like, I know sometimes I'll go back to back, but not too often. You know, it was like, yeah, I just wanted different. And you would never get tired. Like that was the thing. Like a lot of guys like that hit it and quit it. I would fuck girls for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, just because like, I mean, shit, sometimes I hadn't had sex with a girl in 4 months or 6 months. I didn't even remember what it was like. I remember one time, I'll tell you one crazy story and then I gotta go. I got a fucking appointment. But
all right.
I remember one time I hooked up with this girl and she was, you know, blonde chick, huge tits. I was like, you know, stoked about it. I went down, showered, went down to the bowling alley, and the other blonde chick that had huge tits was there. And I was like, and she was already, you know, like flirting with me. I was like, fuck, okay, cool. Hooked up with her, came back down to the bowling alley, hanging out with the people again. You know, had sex with a little brunette, went to bed. Next day, I see the second blonde that I had fucked, and she was like in my room. There's like I don't know, they were doing some photo shoot or whatever, and she was like walking by my room. I think I just like, I don't know, I just like, I touched her hip or something. It was like something like very, and she like kind of like looked at me weird. I was like, we just fucked yesterday. Like, I don't know, you know, or I said something like, you want to fuck or something, you know? And she like kind of like looked at me like I was out of pocket for saying it. And I was just like, just fucked yesterday. She's like, I haven't fucked you. I was like, really? And I what I found out is I fucked the same girl twice, but she came down with her hair up the second time, so I thought it was the other big titty girl. They look so fucking similar.
Oh, okay.
That thought. So that's when I realized I was like, man, I got a fucking problem. I'm forgetting like man,
who
like
the
hour to
bitches you
hour.
fucking?
Yeah, it's not good. Not good.
Man. You know what that is, Stan?
What's that?
White privilege.
I don't know, man. I tell you, my black friends, they ran through them, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One last question. You had 3 heart attacks?
2.
2?
Yeah.
What the fuck caused that?
Cocaine,
okay.
altitude, steroids.
Dude, you was a wild motherfucker.
I was a wild motherfucker.
Holy, you taking steroids, cocaine, dick pills?
Yeah, Viagra too. Did I mention that? Yeah, Viagra, cocaine, steroids, and then it was like I've been traveling too. I came from a ski trip, so I think like the altitude and the traveling, dehydration. With that, because dehydration will make your blood thicker. Right. Will steroids. So it's like kind of like this perfect storm of whatever. In fact, I was in the waiting room for like 45 minutes. They didn't even believe me that I was having a heart attack because I was so fucking young. I was like 26 or 27.
26.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the youngest heart attack they said they'd ever had at that hospital. They didn't even believe it.
That's crazy. Like I'm looking back and I'm like picturing you, and I'm picturing the fucking Tasmanian devil, just like in the fucking Looney Tunes. Like, fucking, you just fucking doing drugs.
I actually had sex in the hospital. That's how fucked up I was. Like after the fucking heart attack, with all the fucking cords and shit coming out. We got high in that fucking hospital. I was trying to be quiet because I had a dude right in the next row or whatever.
Right. Dude, that is
I had problems.
Freaking nuts.
I had problems,
Did you have any guys around hanging around, or you wanted all that shit to yourself?
Honestly, dude, it was so hard to have guy friends. Like I could have like a buddy that was married. He could bring his wife, and we could do like a vacation or something like that. But like my regular friends, it was so distracting. You know, just to have naked girls running around the house or fucking popping up, or they would wear the craziest, sluttiest clothes. So they always wanted like attention, and they're competing with 10 or 12 other girls. So like the shit that they would do to get attention was kind of crazy. And you couldn't have a conversation. Like I'd be sitting here like trying to talk to you, and you'd be like, motherfucker, do you listen to anything I just said? You know, like you just you just fucking totally killed the guy time.
That is crazy. My wife would never let me come over y'all.
Well, they had to bring the wife. Yeah, otherwise forget about it.
Yeah, she still wouldn't trust me.
Yeah.
So you settled down now?
Yeah, I've been chilling. I mean, like since I kind of backslid a little bit. I take that back. So COVID happened, and then I was writing my book, and I had one girlfriend, and then after that, I did the edits, and it was like 2 years of kind of having one chick, and I kind of wanted to fuck other girls. I told her that, and so I broke up with her, did the right thing, and then I just kind of went crazy again. It just wasn't as long, like I have cycles.
So how you do that? You call us, I got to talk to you. Look, I want to fuck other bitches.
I told her straight away. Yeah, like we got to do threesomes or something, and or like I need to fuck other girls.
Right.
I never cheated. I was always like pretty straight up. So
that is nuts. That's man. You were one
all those
really honest
women
guy.
was in your house.
Was that? Oh, yeah, that was at one party. Yeah, I fucked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I fucked like 9 girls in that photo. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That should be in the Webster's dictionary.
8, 9, at least 9. Yeah, for sure 9, maybe 10.
So you like blondes, huh?
I don't care about hair color at all.
No,
I like big titties, a small waist, and a nice ass. Not the dump truck shit that you motherfuckers
I don't like that shit.
Bro.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that.
No.
Man.
I mean, you have the same taste in women.
That's
that shit
good,
like
that's
a
good.
damn oompa loop. I don't like those big. I don't like big bodacious. It's a big turn off.
Dude, my buddy brought some girls into the poker room one time. Fuck, they had to come through the door sideways. I mean, it was like
it's
wider
ridiculous.
than they were tall. It was crazy.
That was crazy. That's not even appealing.
Good looking motherfucker too, man. Like
just wasting his
fucking
whole
ripped,
life.
tall, light skinned black dude. You get any of the pussy.
I'm telling you, man, black dudes are weird.
It is crazy, right? Like this
what they
fascination
like,
with this ass.
I got a friend. He was showing me his gun. I said, "Dude, that is disgusting."
Oh, I mean, one of the questions I had: how do you even get in? Like, man, you got to have a lot of fucking distance to get in that mother. You got to really spread the bitches wide. It's fucking 7 inches just to touch the thing. Fuck.
Right?
How are you stroking at that? It's crazy, man. Anyways, I gotta.
Thanks, bro. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. Good talking. We went a bit over. That was good.
Oh my God! Look at that.